Yo, 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 yo. Hey, let's do some Forex, huh? Let's go. Hey, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So how's it going? You looking good? Look at this, huh? Look at this paradise that I'm in. No, I'm not in prison, but I am at school. So I guess it's about the same. So anyways, good to see you. Sorry these meetings are short, but I told you I wasn't going to do any, but I love you too much. I miss you too much. So I'm doing these webinars as much as I possibly can. I don't know if you can tell, I've had about 5, maybe 5.5 hours sleep. So they're not wasting my time here at school. I'm getting a little bit smarter. So anyways, I hope you're taking the opportunity to sharpen your saw as well. Throw some time into analyzing your trading and your trading history and formulating plans for improvement and all that sort of thing. So this is a perfect time to focus on your education, your training, and self-empowerment, if you want to call it that. So anyways, thank you for being a client to Trader's Way. If you're new to the organization, new to these webinars, new to our Forex trading community, please start it off by visiting tradersway.com. Open a demo account at least, maybe a live account. Download your MT4. And then you'll see in the chart description below that you can download my chart templates for free. And my chart templates look like that. So you can have them all for free. This webinar is free. I've been here for years and years and years. Thank you, Trader's Way, for making it possible. Yeah, Alex said, hey, I thought there'd be no webinar today. Yeah, me too. All right, so let's just begin. And for some reason, my mouse don't work none. So, it should work. Don't work. All right. Too bad. So I got to use the mouse track, and I might actually have to wear glasses. I hope you don't mind. Okay, sure. I was asked to do a repatriation analysis. I was asked yesterday as well. So why don't we do it again? Why don't we start with that? I'm fine with that. Now, first of all, how many days until we actually get a new month? How far off are we? Honestly, I don't even know the date. June 26th. There's 30 days in June. It's a little early. So basically, you're thinking about Friday. Okay, so you're a bit early on the repatriation trade. Now, very often, not always, but very often you'll see a small move that you'll think is the repatriation trade, and then it delays till the end. Yeah, so Highlander, Mickey says it's the 28th, but that's the last Friday of the month. You know what I mean? So that's pretty reasonable. It's not perfect, but it's pretty reasonable. So to make my point, it would be better to set it up here. So I'd rather see it kind of do this before you do a repatriation flow trade. It's the other way to describe it, as a flow trade. Sorry. Group work. Group work. Anyways, so you see what I mean? I'd rather it go a little higher. Now this looks, you'll want it to do this. Okay, remember the market doesn't care about what you want. So that's what you're hoping for. And this time of year especially, if you start wanting things and hoping for things, you're going to get crushed emotionally. So I just look at it, yeah, it's Wednesday, so yeah, Friday might be better. Thursday, even more believable. It could do this. It could. It might. It may. It's reasonable to assume, but honestly, I think this would be better. Okay. So I guess how do you put that into? I mean, that's all strategic, right? So I'd say, well, if you're going to try to take a shot, but keep your stop close, play your pips close to your chest, and saying, okay, I'm a bit early. And just acknowledge that you're a bit early. It's okay. Well, you asked me specifically for a repatriation trade, which means that I cannot buy this. Because then it's not a repatriation trade. Okay. So it's down or it's not a flow trade. Okay. If anyone's new to the flow trade, there is a video on YouTube that I did. It might be on the Trader's Way YouTube channel. It might be on Forex.Today. Don't quite remember, but it's called How to Trade the Mexican Peso and Why It Works. Okay? So if you're new, feel free to watch that. I think it's about 22 minutes, 25 minutes. Something like that. So my pleasure. Joshua says, thanks for these webinars. Hey, my pleasure. Just make sure you have that live account at Trader's Way. Huh? All right, so let's do some gold, some oil, some dollar, some yen, and then move on.com. Oil, a little bit of up, huh? Hanging on to the 55, maybe a reset off the 21. We don't really know. Yeah, thank you, Adam. Trick is not get sick. Yeah, appreciate it though. All right, so here's the thing. I want it to go up. These are not really good trades to be catching. And I might have mentioned it because I did do a webinar yesterday too. And even if I was a bull, I think I said this. Like, I want to be a bull here. I want to be a bull here. There's no buying opportunities really up here. You're just very, very late. You're supposed to buy low. Remember that? Buy low or sell high. So there's no low here. You might say, oh, well, the little kick off the 55 or the little kick off the central. That's not a good trade. It's way redonkulously late. I mean, you're buying into resistance. You're buying at a high pivot. I mean, it's just like ridiculously late. So there you go. So I would, I am a bull, so I still need to wait for a better dip. Okay, and it might not be this week. Okay, well, not my fault. It's just what the markets, it's just what the charts say, right? All right, how about this one? This is a nice little pullback. this might be a buying opportunity, because we know if a market opens out of position, you wait for it to retrace back to the 4-hour 21. Okay? It's also next week's M2. So now I need to drop out of the 4-hour into even a 15-minute chart. Okay? So now I know I got the price, I just don't know the time in which I'd like to buy. Right? You understand? I know my strategy, so I know I'm a buyer. Okay? I know the price I want. That's what that 21 EMA was about. So now I need to analyze time. This is why I drop into a smaller time frame so I can be more accurate. So I know I want to buy. I know the price I'm interested in buying it at. I just don't know the time. So is this a buying opportunity right now? No. But something like this would be very interesting. Okay. Let's do this in a different color. Either here or here. What do you think? I'm about to lose my mind. Morning, Nate. Beijing. Yeah, I'm due for another trip to Beijing. Yeah, maybe 2025. Got to go back, man. Go back. Take the family too. Adam's like, makes sense. Of course it makes sense. You imagine? And you get this a lot in business where someone does like a presentation and then you raise your hand and you're like, everything you just said makes absolute no sense at all. You get that a lot in business, right? Where they have some complicated Excel spreadsheet up there and everyone else in the room is glazing over. I'm like, dude, the math isn't even right on that stupid spreadsheet. So anyways, yeah, it makes sense. Well, of course it makes sense. We'd be in trouble if it didn't, right? All right, so let's take a look at the buck. Hey, look, dollar took a little break. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. You would expect it at some point to take a break, all that kind of stuff. Sellers, right? Sellers could sell. I think it was a pound dollar and pound yen that looked the most bearish. Okay, well, this came off well. You can see we're off of a weekly pivot and we're off of price resistance, right? So I would mark it like this. All of this, let's say. Right? That's a sell zone, right? So we knew yesterday buying it was a pretty bad idea. On this particular pair, yeah, okay. Selling was reasonable. Now you could buy it, just not yesterday. That's my whole point. Friday front run, yeah. But Monday open, for example, that's only a sell. Okay. So now a bull, you can try again here, bulls. You can try again. That's okay. You can try again here if you're a bull. No, Alex, that means money is moving to Switzerland. So what kind of person is moving their money to Switzerland? One that's being aggressive and putting money into risk? Or someone who is conservative and taking money out of risk? Okay? So it has nothing to do with the Swiss. Okay, now we know euro is not the same as pound. Look how different this chart is. This is showing us that there's a lot of bullishness. So here's how I would do if I were me. I'd say at times that the US dollar is weak, I would consider buying euro dollar. At times when the US dollar is strong, I would consider selling pound dollar. Okay, write that down. At times when the US dollar is weak, I would consider buying euro dollar. By consider, I mean the strategy is to buy it. The tactics is to find the time and the price to do so properly. Okay, so if this is going up, I might buy a dip. However, if the dollar is strong in the moment, I don't want to sell euro dollar, but I would sell pound dollar. Okay. So you could even have them open, one to the left and the other to the right, and okay, you're only so you would sell a rally up here, or you would buy this dip. Okay, this is a buying opportunity, just like I showed you on gold. It's perfect on a 4-hour. Drop into a 15-minute, and time your entry. Has everyone watched the videos on the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel called Timing Your Trades? It goes over moving averages and oscillators and such. I think there's Fibonacci in there, maybe some pivot points. Will I look at Euro CAD? Probably not today, sorry. Okay, so let's take a look at Aussie. Okay, good job, guys. All right, so we're getting to the high end of this move. Where would a bull exit the trade? Okay, WR2 is the projected top. Okay, monthly M3 is actually a bear entry. Okay, and then of course just price resistance. Okay, so this doesn't mean it's going to fall. What it means is it's a very good place for bulls to take profit. Okay, so now your job as a tactician using technical analysis, you might want to come up with a plan for maybe selling, but it doesn't have to be today. It could look like this. Okay, sort of like this. Okay, you might have sold it here, got knocked out of break even, walked away, and then missed all of that. It happens. Okay, but you know this is a price for bullish exit, maybe a price for bearish entry. Your job now is to use technical analysis, and particularly on small time frames, because again, you know the price, you just don't know the time. So you need to increase your scrutiny of time. Okay, drop into a 15-minute chart. Okay. In Swissy. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So I think I said up yesterday to set up a down next week. $70 would be a big deal. Remember, like the 200 EMA, it's a target, not an entry, so it's not necessarily a big deal. It's just neutral. Okay? It's probably an exciting place for a broker since they get paid when you trade. A broker probably does really well where half of you go long and half of you go short and everyone still loses money because you shouldn't be trading where the market's neutral. Remember, your job is to be a bull or a bear and trade where in bullish markets or bearish markets, not neutral markets. Because you can't make it a bullish market. You can't make it a bearish market. So why are you participating? And very often you can get a big down and followed by a big up. And that means you could wipe out all the bears, wipe out all the bulls, and those who didn't trade were the best off. Okay. So anyways, this is what our plan, I believe that I highlighted yesterday, was something like this. Even though we were down here, I was saying this. Is that correct? Is that how you guys remember it? It could be a little higher, right, and do more like this, but whatever. To me, it's the same. Yep. Yep, that's how you remember it. Das ist gut, ja. I mean, you could even scalp it off that 21, but yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that. If you wanted to be more aggressive than the plan I gave you, you would drop into a small time frame right here, right now. There's a pivot, okay, but it's also the 4-hour 21. So let's say you want to be more aggressive, and by that I mean only sell. Okay. If you were going to buy it, you should have bought it down here. Okay. So whatever. If you were going to sell it now, this is kind of what you're going to start to look for. Okay. And the basis, if you will, of that trade is right here, and very steeply, is the 4-hour 21. Okay. Which means it's a dynamic level of resistance. And if you're a bear, you're probably still aggressively a bear, and that's your first aggressive entry. Swedish German. It's more Swiss German. Don't worry about it. Oh, the future. Don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry about it. No. Don't get caught up in that. No. No, don't get caught up in that. Oh. Here's the thing that everyone should be focused on over the summer. I think you should learn how to analyze global macroeconomics, and based on that, be able to map out some flow of currencies around the world, and then master putting together trade plans that last a minimum of a week, but ideally a month. Pissing around with trading inside wicks is like picking up pennies in front of a freight train. Oh yeah, you can do it. But honestly, is that really what you want to do the next 20 or 30 years? Trading inside these candles to pick up 20 or 30 pips? You know, I've been in trades over a year. You get paid every day. Nice. Right? So I want you to think more institutionally. Okay? Oh, the future? That's where I'm trying to get you to think institutionally, like a hedge fund manager, like a corporate CFO or something. Okay? But it seems to me, I mean, like, look, I'm not saying ignore candles, but don't trade in them and stuff. I mean, what it's telling you here is, oh, right, there was a move to the upside, and then we hit a certain price, and a whole bunch of people took profit. That's what it means. So what does that verify with you? That somewhere in here there's a level of resistance. It's not really a monthly pivot or a weekly pivot. It could be a daily pivot. It could be a psychological level. But like, you should have already known that. The wick is only confirming that you're at resistance. Okay? That's all it's really truly doing. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah. All right. And I got maybe time for one more. So we got to do some yens, don't we? Let's see if I can maybe do 2 yens. Well, there you go on the future. Boom. Today's your wake-up call, right? All right. So here's some great moves. Here's some really nice moves. Okay. This is a very, 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 very obvious buying opportunity for a bull. And they're taking it here, but you might as well Arctic turtle this thing up a little higher. I'm also eyeballing next week, so now you got to basically cluster this whole thing. So, you know, might as well go for that WR2. Now, typically I don't go to the WR. Well, actually, you know what? It's funny. Typically, I go for the WR2 if the central pivot is our bottom. Oh, look at that. Central pivot is our bottom. So I kind of surprised myself. I'm like, oh, well, it is the bottom. Well, then that totally makes sense, right? Which makes Adam happy, right? When it makes sense, Adam. I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense. Cool. So that's a very easy trade, but that was so 16 hours ago. Sorry. All right, that's a straight up swing trade. Okay, this whole area is the area of opportunity, your AO. Okay, so this is it right there. That's your most probable target. Okay, pound shouldn't be the same. Let's take a look. That doesn't look nearly as nice. Do we have the pivot entry? No. So if the yen gets strong, I'd sell pound yen. You see what I mean? If the yen gets weak, I would buy euro yen. Let's take a look at CAD as a contrast. Yeah, it's hanging in there. It's, once again, a very basic swing trade is developed for bulls. And bears are just sitting up looking in their seat now, right? So here's the buy zone for swing traders who are long. This is interesting because this is the last real price. Am I looking at this right? No, I'm not. That's an R1. So that's resistance. And during this time of year, I always get concerned or being around resistance. because I don't really expect it to trend. So I don't feel confident it'll go there. But what I typically do is I just move my stop to break even, because I'm trying to get you guys to think a day ahead, a week ahead, sometimes a month ahead, right? So there was, if you were a bull, an entry in here somewhere. There's no bullish entry now. There just isn't. You can't go back. You can't be late. You can't be 16 hours late and say, ooh, now I want to get in. Because the probability of this going higher is not that great. In a normal market, during normal seasonality, I'd have my eyes closed and expect to hit that. But we're in the summer, so anyways, you got to be a little better. You might say, well, entering here, you're willing to take the risk. No. You're supposed to take the risk down here. This is where you're aggressive, where you are a bull. You were a bull a week ago. You were a bull a month ago. You understand that? So to be aggressive is you're connecting this using your strategies like swing trading, for example, and you just know, like, this all lines up. This lines up, man. That's what you're doing. So now you're aggressive here when you're buying low, because if you buy it here, your stop just has to be a little lower than that. You're like, that's an S1, and that's all good. Okay. What do I think about pound CAD? Well, we know pound is weak, and we know CAD is moderately strong, but not the strongest. So it'd be an okay thing if you're selling it, but there are better trades. But it'd be all right. But you should be able, just based on the last two charts, you should be able to see the pound CAD. You can almost draw the candlesticks on pound CAD by looking at, we just looked at pound yen, and now here's CAD yen. So you should be able to do it. Yeah, all right. Pound CAD is down, but not as much as pound euro, for example. Or sorry, euro pound up. So anyways, you can't buy it now, guys. Probably what would happen, I would guess, is this next week. But if you were a bear on this, well, you got to pay attention. Because you got the R, you got a monthly, right? You got a weekly R, you got a monthly, and you got price action. So if you're a bear, you're probably looking for some sort of rollover. Okay. But a bear wouldn't be convinced that that's a great trade. A bull would be, but down here. You what? You can't draw this trend line because it needs 3 contact points. What are you talking about? Who the heck said that? Anyways, it's up. I mean, mathematically, Roman, you can do the math, and I can do the math. I can calculate the standard deviation from the mean, right? And this is going up. Okay. So anyways. But I don't have time today to debate that with you. Let's see. Beautiful entry here yesterday, and that's that. Hey, you too, Jonty. Cedric, please don't do stuff like that. Okay? That's not the purpose of this community, okay? So that's, I think, about it. But can you guys see the day trade? Okay, nice little entry. This is a buy zone. This is an exit zone. So yeah. That's all. Don't worry about it, Cedric. JL says thanks again for all you do. Hope you have a great summer semester at Harvard. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And with that, I have a group project. On my last day, get this. I have 2 classes, right? Each class has a written final examination, right, with a very significant amount of points because it's the final examination. I also have a 15-minute presentation in front of 70 people. 15-minute, right? PowerPoint presentation, timed, very structured presentation, and then I have to turn in a 30-page paper. And you're like, that's a lot for one day. Yeah, I know, right? So that's what the days are like here. So I've been going to bed about 1:30 in the morning, getting up bright and early. So I don't know what time it is now. I know I start these webinars late, but it's just how it goes. So it's 8:45, but I've been up for 3 hours. So anyways, that's how it is. But I know you guys are putting in the same effort into learning how to trade Forex. Now, here's the big question, though. If I'm highlighting a book at 1:30 in the morning, and then I'm up at 6 in the morning showering so I can continue taking notes and reviewing things and preparing for tests and all that kind of stuff. If I'm doing that kind of effort to educate myself in the summer, oh yeah, and I left my wife and my children back home. I've spent quite a small fortune being here, both housing and food, but the classes, airfares, and all that kind of stuff. When you add it all up, it's a pretty ridiculous thing to do all that plus 18 hours a day, right? Are you taking your education that serious? Are you really, truly focusing on Forex to that degree? And I'm not even talking about signing up for a 4-year program. I'm talking about just over the next 7 weeks. Are you willing to do that? Are you capable of doing that? Would you be willing if you could move heaven and earth? Whatever. It's just, it's doable. It's a very big ask. It's a very big commitment. It takes a lot of sacrifice, not just for me, but the other members of my family and my friends and all that kind of stuff. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? And are you actually doing it? Right? Because at the end of the day, you either get the A or you don't get the A. You're an A student or you're not. You're mediocre, right? So what are you doing? You slept more than 4 hours today? Why? What's your excuse? Are you binge watching Game of Thrones? Like, what is it that, what are you doing to be exceptional? You want to be exceptional, right? We're all exceptional, right? All our mummies love us. So, but we can't all be exceptional, right? Like, so what are you doing to put yourself to the top, the cream of the crop? Remember, anything in Forex less than 5% is failure. And you don't want to just be a mediocre profitable trader, do you? You're like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm not losing money. Huh? Or do you want to be exceptional? Well, exceptional Forex traders in the beginning didn't binge watch Game of Thrones. So, like, if you slept more than 4 hours, man, I don't know. I'm working harder. And I'm trying to say that not as a snobby slap in the face, but like, you have an opportunity to step up any day you want. And maybe you can just say, as a catalyst, you're like, that son of a gun, right? He's making sacrifices, he's making commitments, and that son of a gun is keeping them and excelling at them. Okay? Well, sure, Mr. Highvolt, I guess I didn't mean like Okay, I use that as an example only because I'm in class from noon to 9:30 at night. But then we have group work and projects, and in the morning they're studying and reading and writing and all that. It's not the number of hours of sleep per se, but I suppose it's a challenge from one friend to another. That if you can do more, this is the time to do more. In fact, the way I live my life, my whole young adult life to now, is to always be doing more than I'm capable of. Right? This should be your best summer. Now, you're not going to get a lot of trading. You're not going to make a lot of money, but this should be your best summer. Okay? This should be your best summer. What are you doing about it? Have you watched as many courses on FX Bootcamp? Have you watched as many videos on YouTube? Are you going to read? So I'm reading like 100 pages a day right now, right? So that means every 2.5 days you should bang out a Forex book, right? So over what, 6 weeks? You're reading, let's say, 3 books a week. How many Forex books could you possibly read? Now, the downside to that is I very much disagree with a lot of other, I don't know, trading strategies. I think there's a lot of hype in this business. There's a lot of scumbags and scam artists, so it's kind of hard to recommend that. But, you know, it's more like, what is the thought process? So maybe this is the summer you learn about bond yields and yield curves. Maybe this is the summer you learn about macroeconomics. Maybe you should there's so many awesome courses online, either, you know, ours at FX Bootcamp, but there's like edX and Udemy and stuff like. Why don't you bang out I'm banging out 2 college classes. Why don't you bang out 2 college classes, one on macroeconomics and another one on basic finance 101. Okay. Now, JL says demo trading and journaling never trade, but the thing is you're going to run into really crappy trading conditions, if not now, soon. And I'd rather you be focused on other things than journaling your you know, exceptionally mediocre trades in an exceptionally mediocre market. And once you do that, JL, for 7 or 8 weeks in a row, very often people's heart that breaks. They give up. They're like, I can't do this. I'm getting terrible results over the last 8 weeks, and you give up because you think you're a failure. But what you don't realize is you're the only person trading, and then you're going to get inconsistent, mediocre results because the market's inconsistent and mediocre. So I'd rather you focus on sharpening your saw over these weeks, and then when fall shows up, you're amazing, and your confidence grows instead of diminishes. No, Roman, actually I don't. No, Roman, if you open a live trading account, I do not earn commissions. No. So, anyways, guys, I gotta go, yo. My phone is, like, I'm not joking. In the last 2 minutes, I got 16 texts. So, I gotta go. But I love you, babe. I want you to win. I want you to succeed. But I gotta jump. So, anyways, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And again, to Roman, no, I don't do that so that I can earn 20 cents when you trade. No, not interested in that. I am not an IB. So anyways, right, well, actually, my title is Chief Market Strategist, right? So no, I'm not an IB. So take care of y'all. I will see you again soon. Cheers.